always assume you might not have the full amount of time to pitch your game. You might get to a meeting with only 5 minutes to spare. If that happens, can you summarize your game in a couple of minutes? And if you can't, you need to go away and think about the game that you're making, because it should not take 30 minutes. It should not take 20 minutes to pitch a game. You should be able to summarize it in a single line statement. And some little tips I can give on that is basically think about the X meets Y, which is something I really like. I know you probably had guests before on the show who've kind of mentioned that before. I'm a big fan of it. If you're working on a game which shares similar mechanics or themes or kind of narrative components compared to other games in that space, say, hey, our game is a mix of this with this. Having frames of reference always helps. If you're working on a roguelike and say, hey, our game, it kind of plays like Hades, but ignore that God's theme. We've gone for like fantasy wizards. And the unique hook with our game, the battling, is very different because, I don't know, you have a spell system and you can conjure spells on the fly, for example. So that's your hook. That's your theme. It feels familiar. You've got a frame of reference. And boom, very quickly, you've started to create some kind of images in the publisher's mind about the type of experience you're making. So yeah, always be prepared to have that in your pocket. You might not always be able to go through the full pitch. And therefore, you should also structure your pitch deck in a way that you kind of get through that hook, those core ideas, right at the beginning. If you get disrupted, if something were to happen, you need to leave, the beginning of your pitch covered most of it. And you basically left the publisher in awe, and they want to chase you down for your LinkedIn contacts, your email address. They should be chasing you at that point. So yeah, always think about summing up your game into a single line with a few references.